as health concerns increase about the coronavirus in the United States, some of those same concerns are happening right here in the Commonwealth. I talked to health officials in Perry County about some of those concerns, and I'll have those details coming up.
And one Eastern Kentucky student's act of kindness is going viral. You'll hear from the teacher who posted about it.
Our severe weather alert day starts now as more snow is expected to move in Friday and last into Saturday morning. I'll have those details right now at 5:30.
Dedicated to Southern and Eastern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 5:30.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. After a slick ride for some this morning, 2 more rounds of snow could fall between tonight and Saturday morning. We begin our severe weather alert day coverage with Chief Meteorologist Paige Noel. Paige?
Well, Steve, the snow we saw this morning has melted pretty quickly, but temperatures still expected to drop tonight. Refreezing could even be an issue throughout the overnight hours. First, we'll take you up to US 119 in Pine Mountain, where you can see that snow melting pretty quickly up there. Roads, though, were a little bit slick, and areas that didn't see sunshine will likely refreeze with more black ice possible tomorrow morning on top of the snow we are expecting. So for the rest of this evening, we're looking pretty okay. You're still seeing a few maybe flurries up along I-64, maybe some flurries tonight, but most of those snow showers look to arrive for tomorrow. Winter weather advisory is in effect for Bell, Harlan, and Letcher, along with Wise County over into Virginia. That goes in effect early tomorrow morning and last through Saturday morning. So what we're expecting, roads, like I said, could refreeze tonight, but those snow showers also moving in tomorrow morning. More snow then moves in Friday night and into your Saturday morning, and could be looking at some flurries and some light snow showers early Saturday before sunshine arrives by the afternoon. We'll break down the timing and impacts of the system coming up in a little bit.
All right, thank you, Paige. It was an act of random kindness that went viral. One student's hope to help a classmate, and it all started here in the mountains at Letcher County Central High School. WYMT's Connor James has the story.
It's a snow day at Letcher County Central.
Ready?
Empty hallways span the school.
Right across the free throw line, right here.
But in the gym,
Now you're going to go, Isaac. Go.
Coach Winston Lee is preparing this team
Yep. All right, let's look at it.
for Friday's game.
Good.
Winston's coached for nearly a decade,
I want you to set it right there.
taking on the role as head coach in the last couple of years.
Come out, we execute, take care of the ball.
But this story is not about what happened on the hardwood.
1, 2, 3, 5. Yeah, just totally random. And it really caught me off guard. And in that moment, I was just like, my heart was full.
But what junior Brandon Cottle did
He's just an overall great kid.
in his 11th grade history class.
And I'd never heard of a student willingly giving up bonus points to someone else.
Winston students were taking a history test. The day before, they played a game for bonus points. Brandon got all 5 of them. But as Brandon turned in his test, instead of writing his bonus points in, he wrote a message.
He had just written a note, across the bottom. If you could, can you give my bonus points to whoever scores the lowest?
Remind you, this is before they were graded.
Yeah, he had no idea. So when he turned his test in, obviously at that time, he didn't know what he was going to score. But he was still more than willing, in the note to give these points away, not knowing what he had actually scored on the test. As soon as I read the note, I thought immediately to myself, man, I have to share this. I have to brag on this guy.
So he did, and nearly 100,000 Facebook likes later,
But I've gotten all kinds of awesome messages.
Brandon's heartfelt message is now seen not just in the mountains, but around the world. In Letcher County, Connor James, WYMT Mountain News.
Now, Lee says the student that got the points was able to boost her score enough to where it helped out with her grade in class. Brandon got an A on the test. As the Pope blessed followers at the beginning of Lent Wednesday, he urged Catholics to stop insulting each other on social media. The pontiff says too many offensive and harmful words are amplified by the internet, and that, quote, today people insult each other as if they were saying good day. But instead of food and other vices, Pope Francis is asking Catholics to start being kind online and to, quote, give up useless words, gossip, rumors, and tittle-tattle. Last year for Lent, he asked followers to give up gossiping. Congress is hashing out a funding plan to respond to the coronavirus as California deals with what could be now the first case of community transmission of the deadly virus. Meanwhile, some public health officials in eastern Kentucky were in Frankfort yesterday to hear about the state's plan of action. WYMT's Lacey Roberts spoke with officials and a concerned business owner in Perry County to get more clarification on the virus and the concern it has caused.
Much like the flu and the common cold,
coronavirus is a respiratory illness.
symptoms are similar, just more severe. Here in Perry County, public health officials are prepared. They have an all-hazard preparedness plan.
If we can do anything in public health, it's really to try to help calm that panic and get the factual information out there.
Panic stemming to business owners like Sheena Grogan, co-owner of Oak and Willow. Concerns the coronavirus could pass through shipping.
Preparing for spring, we were getting upwards of like 20 to 40 packages a week. We're not like a big corporation like Amazon or, people who ship mostly internationally.
And those concerns were addressed.
There's no indication it can be transferred, through packaging or things of that nature.
A weight lifted off her shoulders.
I think it'll help reduce the panic and, people don't have to worry as much whenever they buy locally.
So how can you prevent yourself from getting any type of respiratory illness? Frequent hand washing.
We cannot stress enough how important it is that everybody washes their hands, and typically most people don't wash their hands thoroughly.
Washing your hands for at least 20 seconds with soap and water. If you cannot wash your hands, use alcohol-based hand sanitizer. And leave the masks at home.
The only thing that does is create shortages for healthcare providers and those that really need them.
Seeing a doctor is the only way to diagnose your true illness. In Hazard, Lacey Roberts, WYMT Mountain News.
Now, while there are no confirmed cases of the Wuhan coronavirus in Kentucky, there are a few people being monitored because of their recent travel overseas. The local health department and Department for Public Health are working with them for any further action if necessary. Coming up at 6, Governor Andy Beshear addresses coronavirus concerns during a news conference this afternoon. Democratic presidential hopefuls are spread out across the country campaigning ahead of Saturday's South Carolina primary and in Super Tuesday states, which vote just days later. Bernie Sanders marched his supporters to the polls in North Carolina Thursday to vote early. It's one of 14 Super Tuesday states voting March 3rd along with American Samoa. Pete Buttigieg is one of the 7 other Democratic hopefuls trying to slow Sanders' momentum.
Well, if no candidate will get out of the way for any other candidate, then it will fall to the voters. And my appeal to voters is to come together around a solution, an approach, and a candidate who can move us forward.
But while Democrats are divided over the still crowded field, Republicans are trying to unify their base at the annual Conservative Political Action Conference. President Trump will once again try to upstage Democrats appearing in South Carolina on the eve of that state's primary. A new online petition is calling on 3 major airlines to allow parents to be seated with their children at no extra charge. According to Consumer Reports, many airlines require travelers to pay extra to be guaranteed a seat next to children under 13. The company launched an online petition which has already garnered over 90,000 signatures demanding airlines stop separating families.
The base expectation should be that kids and their parents sit together without paying extra to do so.
While a number of airlines charge extra for family seating, United, Delta, and American Airlines were specifically called out for their policies, urging them to put safety before profits. A representative from Consumer Reports will testify before the House Transportation Committee about the issue next week. Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, Kentucky native and country singer Sturgill Simpson received a big bluegrass welcome in Versailles ahead of a big concert in Lexington.
And you want to keep that WYMT weather app handy as we are tracking a little bit more snow moving in tomorrow night and even moving in tomorrow morning. I'll have those details next.